Greetings, another Stargods blog brought to you by stargods.org. Go to the site, download my previous book, Waking from a Dream. It's fictional, but it'll wake you up. That's why the rooster is on the cover. Uh, my other book is $12. It's a big book, it's about 300 PDF pages. It's non-fictional. It goes through a lot of mind-shaking stuff. Um, Yeah, you can get it for $12. Eh? So check out the site, stargods.org, and go there now. So, anyways, I want to talk about something that's serious, but it's always been laughed at, and that is the flat Earth theory, which people have laughed and laughed and laughed, and this is what they do because they can't defend it. They can't defend it because the flat Earth is considered ridiculous. The people just laugh. Do they apply logic and science and reason with it? No. They just laugh and laugh like silly little, dolls. Just hee haw. I mean, that's all you get from them. You don't get any facts or figures debating it. One thing is, they can't because there is no evidence, there's no proof that the earth is round. There's not a shred of evidence. Oh, there's some flaky Masonic mathematicians that figured out, the Earth is round. Yeah, well, we're going by this outdated. You notice how everything that we worship as reality, like especially the laws of physics, is outdated by hundreds of years, centuries, and yet we go by it like we haven't learned anything more. This is 2015, and we haven't learned anything yet. Newton was God. He wrapped it up. He put it there, and that's it. We go no further. We go no further. Interesting how that works, the dumbing down process. But if you go into a kindergarten or a classroom or something, what do you always see? A globe. It's drilled into young people's heads right from the day one, right from day one. So there is no evidence, okay? But there is three major studies that were done, scientific experiments of observation, not skewing mathematical figures, true observations that really prove that the Earth is flat. It is not a globe; it's a disk. It does not spin through space. Spin around. It does not travel through space. And this is what is talked about in the Old Testament. Now, the Old Testament is a lot of mythological stories, but there's a lot of nice, meaty substance there. It talks about the earth being established, immovable. It says in the Bible. If any of you Christian types, you want to look it up, the earth is immovable. So it doesn't spin, it doesn't go through space, it's not some kind of amusement park ride going through space. Woo! No, no, it's established there. And if you look into the book of Genesis, it will outline the entire picture of the flat Earth. And what it is talks about. Yeah, look up all the references. You have a disk, which is the flat Earth. Now, I can't explain all of this because it would take like days. So it says God's Spirit is moving across the face of the waters. So here we have waters, the very first thing, and they're not created, they seem to be here already. So what God does is establish the landmass from the water. He brings forth earth. That's what earth is. Earth is land mass. Anything is the land mass is earth. So he brings out the earth from the water. Then he talks about a shield, a globe, a shield, a bubble around the world, the firmament. And the firmament separates the cosmological water up there, separates, blocks it, and creates an environmental dome. What are those called? I forget. I mean, so we're living in an environmental dome. because there's waters above, below, all around. It's something like a submarine. Now, this was accepted by many, many cultures for many, many thousands of years that the Earth was flat and there's a dome. But when the information lockdown took place, this knowledge was lost forever, and nobody's talked about it. So, where do I begin? We have this dome, and it sounds crazy, and I know it sounds crazy, but I can think of stuff that's true, and it's more crazy. So you have this disk with, the landmass referred to as Earth, with the dome, the firmament, and it's solid. And I think it's in Job. It indicates that it's molten glass. So it's literally a glass dome. This is very, very interesting. And so we have this glass dome that we live in, and we're protected because it's our prison. The Bible refers to it in the translation as the vault, that God hid us in a vault. Well, that really makes sense. So above all this water up above the dome is heaven. There's no water beyond the plane of God, heaven, right? So now let's suppose that no. Before we get into that, well, what proof do I have? All I do is I could just prove it with observation. I'm into observational science, not well, mathematics, because mathematics can prove that an elephant can hang off the side of a cliff holding onto a tulip. I mean, mathematics can be skewed, but proper mathematics is very powerful, very helpful. What do I go by? What is my evidence that I can see? I live on a beach, and I can see islands 50, maybe 50 miles away, 60 miles away. Now, according to math, if you take the Earth, the circumference is 25,000 miles. From that, you can figure out the curve of the Earth. And one example of the curve of the Earth is for every, well, for at 6 miles, you have a 16-foot dip. And it's exponential because of the curve. You see, the farther down here you go along the Earth, the greater the dip. So it's exponential. So at 6 miles, you're just getting started at the dip, right? So how come I can see boats way off in the distance at eye level when the Earth is supposed to curve? 50 miles away, figure it out, exponential curve, it would be well beyond 16 feet. It would be, oh, I don't know, do the math. It was never my favorite subject. And lighthouses, they can see lighthouses for miles and miles and miles away in a straight line with the light, like that. So if there was a curve, you'd have to have lighthouses all along, relay lighthouses, I guess you'd say. They've taken lasers on lakes, huge, massive lakes, and they've taken lasers, and they have a laser at one end of the lake and one laser here, and it's a perfect match. Perfect match, totally level. You can't fight this kind of information. Totally level. I look, I can see a horizon. You go to Saskatchewan in Canada, you can see just flat line. And when you watch a truck, full of wheat or whatever, and it's going away, you can watch it for miles and miles and miles, but yet the calculations show that around Earth it should drop 16 feet at 6 miles. Well, 12 miles would be 1632, but even more than 32 feet because of the dip. So I'll leave the math to you guys. Um, but there's all this kind of strangeness. Now, if there is a dome that is blocking us, which 1956 they kept firing nukes up there because they discovered there's a dome up there. They kept firing nuke after nuke after nuke of heavily, heavily explosive atomic weapons. And, well, why were they doing that? Maybe they were trying to get out, find a way out. Maybe they're going to blow a hole. And in Genesis, they should read Genesis because above that is water. So maybe that's what happened with the flood. Maybe we got a crack in the dome or something. All this water started pouring down. I don't know. Something to look into. Anyways, so if there is a dome, guess what that means, ladies and gentlemen? That means that NASA is a fraud. Because within this dome, we have a very small sun. That is very well established. We have very small, it's 3,000 miles up, they figure, and about 32 miles around. And it goes around the dome. And where it goes, there's light. Because it's so close and focused, then there's darkness over here. And this is what you'll see in sunsets. You'll see the light angled from the clouds because the sun is so close, right? If you pull the sun way up much higher where it's supposed to be, according to the experts, the sun is going to totally bathe the earth, period. It's going to totally bathe the earth. You're not going to get what's called hot spots. And there's lots of pictures online about hot spots. When the sun is close, and when the sun is close, you get the angles like a flashlight. Do it with a flashlight. Just put the flashlight down and then pull it back. Get a globe and do it. These are hot spots, and this is why the sunlight coming through the cloud is so angled because it's so close to the earth. Um, it's all with it. This is some kind of what do you call those domes where you live in, eh? Hippies used to live in them. It was an environmental dome contained. This is what we're living in. And so, if there is an impenetrable barrier up there, like the Old Testament and all the cultures used to say, until about 500 years ago, then you know, they started getting exterminated. The Catholic Church just went into a worldwide information lockdown. They traveled the world, locking down all cultures, burning their records and burning their scriptures, and totally wiping knowledge off the planet. So, if there is a big dome, this means NASA is full of it. NASA is lying to you. Now, according to the dome theorem, the stars are lights on top of these domes. Lights. Sounds like the Truman Show, eh? Where they have these lights. Truman's in a dome. He thinks it's reality. Yeah, it's not. And so they have lights. Now they say, oh, this star is a little tiny star because it's trillions and trillions of light years away. No, it's a little star. It's a little light compared to a big light. Same height. It's like we're in what do you one of those gee, what do they call that? I was one at one when I was young. A little dome. You go in there and there's a projector and you see boom, all of a sudden all the stars are out there. Sorry, pal. Those stars are only limited to the ceiling. They're not trillions. Look at that star system, Johnny. It's billions and billions of light years away because it's so small. No, it's at the ceiling. And this is the same planetarium. Planetarium. This is the same concept. So NASA lies. Well, no, it doesn't. It doesn't lie. NASA's truthful. The fact is now, and you can confirm this. NASA is has a foundation of Satanists, sorcerers. There was Satan, sorcerers, and oh yeah, Masons. Oh, they never lie to us. The Masons are good people. They're good people. Okay. And Illuminati, And so, can you go up there and confirm right now that the Earth is flat or round? No, you can't. But there's three major experiments that have proven it that are never talked about. They are ignored like wildfire. Get rid of that subject. Get rid of that subject. Look these three experiments out. They prove that the Earth is not round, it doesn't spin, it doesn't go through space. Because the Bible says the Earth is established, it is immovable, it does not move. The Bible clearly says that. And many, many other records and philosophers have said the Earth is stationary, it does not move. But so NASA would have to lie, eh? They would have to lie. So what do? They they put out a preponderance of movies, of space movies. Of course, there's no dome. We can go and travel the planets and everything. The planets are starting to look like lights rather than actual planets. NASA is the one that's been turning them into planets. These are close. The, the Old Testament refers to them as wandering stars. They're not like the regular lights that are up there in the sky. And Revelation says, and many other passages in the Bible says, the day's coming when the stars will fall to the earth. Sounds like the Truman Show, doesn't it? So what we have is this canopy that's unbreakable. We can't get through it. So NASA lies. They and they have to lie because we can't know about that barrier because we're supposed to have an invasion from space. Ever since 1947, we had Roswell, right? And then Hollywood started pumping us and pumping us. They're coming. They're hostile. They're dangerous. They're coming for the women. You know, all these old grade B movies. And now a whole new genre of Star Trek, which I love Star Trek. All these Star Trek type shows and series and everything, all based on wars in space because the aliens are coming and we've been brainwashed. You see, this is their agenda. This is their grand finale. This is what Reagan was talking about in the United Nations. What if we were invaded from another planet, a hostile species, or whatever? You know, he went on about aliens attacking and that we would all become one nation under Illuminati. We have that with General MacArthur. General MacArthur talked about an invasion from another planet. He may have believed it. Maybe they soaked him pretty good too. But the public is more and more. They start out slow and then they hit you over and over and over again. Star Wars. There's life out there from all the planets. They're coming here. They don't like us. You see. So this is if this information catches on in the public about a flat Earth and the solid, impenetrable dome. And even if they got through the dome, how are they going to get through all the water? So you got a rocket that goes. I got a rocket that goes through the dome. Well, then how's a rocket going to run in water? I don't get it. So, anyways, they lie and they lie and they lie, and then all the pictures from NASA are so phony. Now they have a space station. Oh, well, we have a space station in space. What are you talking about? Some dome? No, look at them because well, I can see myself. There's one with a lady astronaut. It's big. She squeezes out all this water. It turns into a big blob of water. Then she goes, she sucks it in. There's these other little bits of water that are floating away, and you can see it on the film. Now, if one of those little bits of water gets into any of the electrical systems, it will short out the electric systems and probably start a fire aboard the spacecraft. So, what's going on? Hatfield is seen going floating around. Look at me, boys and girls, I'm floating around. And then he bends over, and you can see his back shirt coming up like this because of two wires that are in his back. I mean, there can't be anything else. I mean, it's kind of obvious. So where do all these waters go? They talk about how they have sponge bath. Where's all that water? It just takes a microparticle of water to get into the circuitry. But this woman, and she's dancing around, and oh, look at what the lack of gravity is doing to her hair. Oh, fun, kids! Look, kids! It doesn't move. Like everything flows in a vacuum. The hair goes out everywhere. It's like totally spray painted. It's so obvious. It's just then we I know we have underwater scenes of fixing. There was one, I think it was, I forget, fixing something in some space station. They're fixing something, anyways, and then all of a sudden you see a water bubble going. Whoop. They're doing this underwater to imitate gravity. Okay, so why all the shenanigans? Well, that's nonsense. There's no barrier up there. We've been to the moon. Oh, that is the most unbelievable sham and ruse I've ever seen in my life, personally. I am a photographer. I am a very knowledgeable photographer. I can tell you those photos are as phony as can be. Oh, now we have a picture of the Earth, right, from Apollo 17. Oh, look at that. Look, you can see the landmass and the oceans and oh, la, la, la. Vivid colors, very vivid colors. But the thing is, the atmosphere dulls things. The atmosphere, if I look to the other islands here, they're not bright green. They're kind of blue. They're tinted blue from the atmosphere. We have an atmosphere surrounding the Earth, so why is it the browns are brown and the little yellow bits of desert, they're yellow, you know? You put a blue filter on a camera, you're not going to get true colors. The atmosphere is blue, and you're not going to get true colors. That's the filter that they have to film through. So what's going on? Not only the atmosphere will give a bluish glow around the Earth, it has to. But the pictures we see, it's like they took a razor blade and went right around and they pasted it on a black background. Why are there no stars? There are hundreds and hundreds of pictures. There's no stars. There's no stars when we look at the planets and everything. So-called pictures of the planet. No stars. When they went to the moon, no stars. Now they're saying, oh well, no. Now we can we'll say that there's no stars because you can't see stars in space. Why didn't they say that before when everybody was questioning this? If that's the case, well, it's like Roswell when they now say, oh well, no, we had a balloon with dummies. I forget it was Operation something. I don't know, whatever, some testing. They're dropping mannequins from a balloon. Is this getting okay? This may get a little long. Um, they're dropping mannequins from the balloon. That explains the alien bodies they found on the ground. So why didn't they tell us right from the start? Why did it take so long for them to admit that? It's not national security information. And this is the same. If there's no stars, you can't see stars from space. So there's the astronauts. They're all looking like they're at a funeral, but they're actually at a press conference. And Buzz Aldrin's asked about the stars. He says, "There, I didn't see any stars. Well, I didn't see any stars." Because something's wrong. So when people started questioning that, why didn't way back then say, "Oh, well, you can't see stars. You can't see stars." You know. So, anyways, this is a big subject. I can't answer all your questions, but I can assuredly say that if it is true that there is an impenetrable dome up there, what's with NASA? What are they talking about? What's going on? Oh, we went to the moon, obviously. We have never gotten past, we've never gotten past, I think it's 350 miles into the air. Oh, we did with Apollo. Yeah, there's the Apollo, there's the module, right? Gus Grissom comes along, hangs a lemon on the side. He says, this ain't going anywhere. This is a joke. In other words, this is a prop. What are you telling me? I'm not risking my life for this prop. So guess what? He's going to have a press conference. Suddenly dies. Mysterious flash fire. Oh, you see how it works? There was a safety specialist, I forget his name, wrote a 500-page report saying, we're not going to the moon, guys. We do not have the technology. Think about the technology they had back then. No testing. They just, they first shot, boom, they go to the moon. Nothing. Hey, it worked perfectly. Really against the odds. Other ones, oh, we had Apollo 13, but that was for getting the ratings out because people were, they were losing interest in it because there's one flight after another. But they get up there, first shot, first try, no experiments, no pre-run exploration, nothing. They just seem to, it just works perfectly with ancient technology. Anyways, the guy had a 500-page report and he died. He got hit by a train. And it's funny how they did that. My little Fifi got hit by a train. I went out in the backyard to go to the bathroom and a train hit him. Amazing how that happens, eh? So, this is what's going to be a real problem for NASA if this starts catching on. How are you going to explain a fake alien invasion to gain world control? How are you going to explain it? Well, they're invaders from space. No, there is no space. There's just a barrier, an impenetrable barrier that they've been trying to get to. This lines up with Michael Tsarian's research. He said the Nephilim descendants can't get off the planet because of the Van Allen radiation belt. Well, we have technology. We can get through the Van Allen radiation belt. You can't get through a solid barrier. And this is why we haven't been to Mars, okay? We haven't been to Mars. They don't have the technology to go to the moon. And they're saying, we're going back to the moon. No, you're not going back because then you'll have to explain the new technology that you have. Now they're coming up with excuses. Well, we can't go to the moon because of Van Allen radiation belt. Well, that didn't seem to be a problem with the astronauts, did it? A whole bunch of them go up there. Woohoo! Nothing happened there. And now they say, oh, well, it's very deadly. You were told that way back then. What's going on here, folks? What's with all this layers of lies? And that's what Armstrong said. Truth has a protective layer. Lie that there is no firmament. Then we can just go through outer space and we can talk to creatures with tentacles and we can have Star Wars and look at the Star Wars budget. There's no satellites up there. Do the research about satellites. Some people are now thinking there's no satellites up there. It's all a fraud. All this billions of dollars goes into the Illuminati pockets. And then what do to prove that there's satellites up there? They have little drawings. Oh, look at my encyclopedia. It's a drawing of a satellite. So they exist. They don't exist. There's no satellites. It's money, honey, and they got us all fooled. So we're paying for billions of dollars to put little things in space that come down into the ocean, and then we think it's a satellite. Look it up. What are these? We have ground. We can bounce stuff off the atmosphere. We don't need satellites. See, the idea was, oh, well, you got to talk to this guy, the curve of the Earth. We can't talk. Send a TV signal from here along the curve. We can't do it. And if they could do it, then what's going on here? But who cares? You can bounce it off that's a proven fact. You can bounce it off the stratosphere or whatever level and you don't need satellites. And besides, the Earth isn't curved, and besides, we have towers that can triangulate any system on Earth. That's how they track you. They triangulate with the towers. Has nothing to do with. Anyways, that's a big story that you should look up. That's yeah, that's another research job you can do. But anyways, if this gets out in the public and it takes off with the public, NASA has a lot of explaining. You've lied to us. Hollywood has lied to us. Grab the pitchforks. We ride tonight. I mean, this is serious. They're not going to get their fake alien takeover, alien attack, where the whole world has to unite as one government to take on the aliens if people know there's a barrier up there. They're going to do a lot of smoke and mirrors, but they're not going to get out of this one. The writing's on the wall. So if this can catch on about the barrier, the dome, NASA's in trouble. Look at all the NASA pictures. They're just fake. They're just fake. The Apollo mission is absolutely ridiculous. There's a picture of Neil Armstrong, and he's standing there in front of the lamp, and the lamp has a flag, right? Well, you know what happened? Somebody blew up the flag. NASA picture, straight from NASA, blew it up, fiddled with the contrast, and you can see it's paper and it's bent in one area, and there's Scotch tape all around it. You know that Scotch tape is so good in space. You can travel far distances in space, and there's nothing like Scotch brand. Yeah. I mean, think about this. It's absolutely ridiculous. There's absolutely on the pads, there's no dust. There would have been dust, 10,000 pounds of pressure blowing dust everywhere, and there's no dust. Like there's something's really, there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these little factoids. I'm at the 30-minute mark. I guess I should end it here. But here's the bottom line. NASA has been lying to you. Look at all the space pictures of space. Go to the library. Look at them. No stars. They don't look real. You just have this intuitive feeling of, this doesn't look real. Look at the Earth. So clear, so bright, but never bluish looking because of the atmosphere, the lens of the colored lens of the atmosphere. The atmosphere acts like a colored lens, a blue color, but the colors seem unaltered. What's going on? No stars. You never see stars because they cannot. You need a mega, mega, mega supercomputer to put the stars in all the right positions so no astronomers don't catch on. Because astronomers are looking for these stars. They want to see the stars so they can compare the angles from different satellite views, and learn. They can learn a great, great deal, but there's never any stars. They can't allow it. There's so NASA has got a lot of backpedaling to do. They're about to be caught. If this flat Earth thing takes off and people get aware of it instead of laughing at it, NASA is going to have a big problem on their hands, and the Illuminati's absolute biggest wet dream ever about taking over the Earth. Werner von Braun, the father of the space industry, Apollo and stuff, he didn't have any faith in the technology to get to the moon. He did. He said we'd need a rocket the size of the Empire State Building to have enough gas, and nobody was sure about the radiation belt, and so it's all a fraud. So if we have this fake alien attack that's going to bring about the New World Order overnight, which has been planned. Even Werner von Braun talked about it to his secretary. Says, it's all a fake. It's all illusion. The space program and everything. Billions of dollars going into their pockets for little drawings in encyclopedias. Oh, there's Star Wars. Look at that. I know it's real because I saw it now. Yeah, they're going to have a lot. This could be the end of them. This could be the end of the New World Order. It's going to make or break them. It depends how fast this information gets out there. There is a dome. Explain it. How can we be invaded by hostile aliens from another planet when they can't get through the dome either? That's what the dome's there for. We're under quarantine. Nobody gets to us. We're placed in the middle of a primordial sea. We're like in a submarine, like we're in a dome in the bottom of the ocean or something. Nobody's going to get to us. So how are they going to explain that? Okay, so yeah, way long, way long. So think about it. Look at all the space pictures. Go to the library. You'll be amazed. You go, wow, this is weird. Look into it. Do your own research. It's a big, big, big subject, but NASA has got a lot. The Illuminati are not going to pull off their world dominance because they've been planning this for years. They've been pumping us and brainwashing us with all the movies, Star Wars, and we're going to be at war with tentacle creatures and Independence Day and all that. Blah, blah, blah. Come to us and we'll take control because we have our hidden technology that we hid from you for years, and we'll take them on for you. You get behind Big Daddy government, man. You get behind Big Daddy. Oh, yes, save us, save us. Oh, God, please. Even Kissinger said that. that if there was something attacking from out there, that we would just unite overnight. There would be no more Russia, China. There would be one world government under Illuminati. Think about it. Thank you very much.